We've all been experiencing and reading about and hearing about all of the transition that's been going on in the workforce over the past couple of years. What's this great resignation really all about? There's no question that shutting down the economy globally for the COVID pandemic wreaked havoc on the workforce. And there's no question that we've had to recover, and it's been unstable to a degree ever since. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2021, 48 million people chose to leave their job. That's about 30% of the workforce, an average of 4 million a month. If you look at this chart, pre-pandemic, in 2019, 42 million left their jobs, which is about an average of 3.5 million per month. And you can see there's quite a drop during 2020. That's during the pandemic, and probably for a few reasons. A lot of people chose not to leave their jobs, insecurity being one of them. They wanted to maintain their jobs. Two, a lot of people were laid off. They just didn't have the opportunity to choose to leave. And three, the government is encouraging businesses to keep people, right? So we all wanted to keep that head count. What's more concerning from this chart is if you look from 2009 to 2021, there is a consistent linear increase in the percentage of the workforce that's choosing to leave their jobs. They're choosing to quit, and it's increasing every month by 0.1%. People are becoming more and more dissatisfied at work. It's not because they don't want to work, it's who they're working with and the environment that they're working in. This leads us to our discussion topic today. Why? Why is this happening, and what can we do about it? The root of this problem, I say, is that people don't feel like they belong at work. They're willing to work, they want to work, but they just don't feel like they belong. And it's up to you as a leader, as a business owner, to do something about that in your culture. Your people don't feel like they belong, and they might be looking to leave. Let's dig into this just a little bit more. Attracting and retaining the best talent, even keeping your employees engaged within your organization, means that you as a leader need to help them feel like they belong. It's a basic human need, that need to belong. In fact, we know that we're created this way. If we look back in Genesis chapter 2, verses 15 and 18, we read these things. And God took the person and put him in the garden of Eden to cultivate and care for it. Adam was put in the garden to work. In verse 18, we read this. And Adonai, God said, "It isn't good that this person should be alone. I will make a companion suitable to help him." Now, there's 3 points I want to take out of this verse. First is, it's not good for us to be alone. And in the context of this, we're not just talking about Adam as the only person on earth. We're talking about he's by himself. He's apart. Second, we need helpers for our work. It's obvious that it's best for us to be working in teams, working in collaboration with other people. And finally, those helpers need to be suitable companions for us. We want to belong in a team to do that work. As Christians, we all know that God created us for relationship, but really let's take this into the work environment and talk a little bit more about what belonging means. I'm going to read some research findings and statistics, but it all points back to the theme of two things. One, we're working together, and that's best for us. We are going to thrive when we are working together. And secondly, we're going to thrive when we're working together and feel like we belong, working with those others who are suitable or complementary to us. Back in 1995, Roy Baumeister and Mark Leary published an article And their study was all about belonging. And they made this clear finding. Human beings are fundamentally and pervasively motivated by a need to belong. I want to restate that. Human beings are fundamentally and pervasively motivated by a need to belong. Yet, research shows from the Harvard Business Review that over 40% of employees feel isolated. And this leads to them having less commitment at work and less engagement. In a study on workplace ostracism, researchers found that feeling excluded is significantly more likely to lead to job dissatisfaction, quitting, and health problems. We've kind of all seen that in the past couple of years, haven't we? McKinsey and Company research found that the top 3 reasons for employees choosing to leave their jobs voluntarily are A, I didn't feel valued by the organization, B, I didn't feel valued by my manager, and C, I didn't feel a sense of belonging. There's a lot of feelings there. We strive to feel like we belong. We are fundamentally and pervasively motivated by a need to belong. And when we don't feel like we belong, we become disengaged. We kind of retreat, we pull back, or we just go silent and disconnect. People are choosing to leave because they don't belong. Now, what if they do feel like they belong? What does this do for our business? What does this do for the culture? The Harvard Business Review says, when people feel like they belong at work, they are more productive, more motivated, more engaged, and 3.5 times more likely to contribute to their fullest potential. 3.5 times. Glint, an organizational health company, found in their research that when employees feel a strong sense of belonging at work, they're over 6 times as likely to bring their best selves and deliver their best work. 6 times. Here are some other findings that came from research from Harvard Business Review. When an employee feels like they belong, there's a 56% increase in job satisfaction and performance, 50% reduction in turnover risk, 167% increase in net employer promoter score. All that means is their willingness to recommend your organization to others, and a 75% decrease in sick days. There's a lot of money, savings, and additions that could be made here. And from his research done with the ADP Research Institute, Marcus Buckingham found a series of things around engagement, employee engagement. Globally, we're at about 18%. The best country in the world is the United Arab Emirates, and they're at 25%. The US, 11%. Imagine, 89% of our workforce in general is not fully engaged. That means we're just kind of clocking in. We're checking in and checking out at the end of the day. This is what he says is going to be most effective to help improve engagement. 1, being on a team increases employee engagement 2.3 times. And a worker is 12 times more likely to be fully engaged if they trust their team leader. We want to be on a team, and we want to be in a team where we can trust others. Buckingham's research shows that it is important for everyone to first, regularly work with others, second, have a sense of belonging, and finally, trust their leaders. What results is what he calls thriving, creativity, innovation, and collaboration. That's what we get when people feel like they belong. Here's the point. Engagement is an outcome of belonging. Employee engagement is what we feel and see and can measure to an extent when someone feels like they belong. When I feel like I belong, my engagement goes up. And when my engagement goes up, I'll bring my best and I'll do my best. This helps the bottom line and it helps your culture. But belonging seems a little bit, hard to define and a little conceptual, right? We talked about feelings earlier. We know it's emotional. It's a way we feel. We kind of sense that we're in a belonging. We know it's relational. It's about me and others. And I did a little digging just to see if we could get the real definition. Simply close or intimate relationship. No more information than that. It's like, okay, how are we going to define this? I'm going to lead us through an exercise. Hopefully you'll be able to sense belonging and what helps you feel belonging or what actually kills belonging in us. So I'd like for you to close your eyes. Trust me here for a few seconds or minutes. And think of a time when you walked into a group setting. Maybe it was a dinner party or a family reunion, maybe with the in-laws. Think of one that you didn't feel like you belonged. You walked in and you kind of almost immediately sensed this, I don't want to be here type feeling. Could have been a neighborhood party, a sporting event, maybe a parent-teacher conference, visiting a new church, a holiday party, a work dinner, or some other social event for work, or maybe a business networking event. Maybe it was even a meeting in your own business. You were sitting in a meeting going, I just want to leave. I want to check out. I hope that nobody sees that I'm scrolling through my phone right now. Why did you feel that way? Think about what was going on around you that just made you feel this sense of, I don't belong here. Here's some things that others have told me as I've done my research. There was no acknowledgement. No one acknowledged me. Physically, we looked different. Maybe it was because we dressed differently or just literally looked different. There was no warm reception, no engagement from others. It was a forced involvement in this event. I wasn't invited in, or I was just ignored. Or there is this smell of discord. We just kind of sense in the environment that there's this heaviness, a cloud hanging over the room maybe. For some people, it was a fear of missing someone else's expectations. Otherwise, it might have just been boring and irrelevant for you. Now I want you to think of a time when you did feel like you belonged. You walked into this event or this room or this environment, and immediately you kind of felt drawn in. You wanted to go in. You were motivated to enter and engage with those around you. Could have been the exact same type of event, right? A family reunion, wedding, a reception, neighborhood party, sporting events, that parent-teacher meeting, visiting a new church, holiday party, a work dinner or social event, any of those things. Maybe it was when you walked into Iron Forums this morning, you felt like you belonged and you just wanted to go in. Maybe you were at a sports party recently and you were high-fiving strangers around you. You don't even know these folks, but you just felt this belonging. Maybe it was a meeting you were in and there was just a great sense of collaboration and people were working together. It was like you actually enjoyed each other. What made you feel that way? Here's, again, some research that I've done. Commonality, shared intentions, familiarity with each other, nods or greetings from those who are already there, a mutual admiration or respect for each other. Someone was glad to see me. Genuine and authentic. I just could sense that it was an authentic environment. There was more energy, or I was getting smiles. People were smiling at me. Now, in either case, whether you felt like you belonged or you didn't, no words spoken, you could sense this totally just by nonverbal communication. By the other people in the room, what you recognized and sensed and saw all helped you feel belonging or like you wanted to leave. What if every time you walked into your office or your workplace, what if all your leaders and all your employees, every time they got to work, they felt that sense of belonging? What if that high five you're giving strangers at the sporting event, Everyone wants to do that as they're walking into business. Would that change the culture? Would that change performance? Would that enhance the bottom line of your business? I believe it can, and it does. Research shows evidence of that. What can we do about that? How can we enhance belonging in our workplace? Baumeister and Leary, their research says our sense of belonging increases with two factors. One, we have frequent, positive, personal interactions with others. And let's make sure we say positive is not a manufactured positive. These have to be spontaneous. And then secondly, we're recognized and respected for our uniqueness. We want others to see us, hear us, and value us. Not try to change us, not try to convert us, but just value us for our differences and our uniqueness. In Psalm 139, we get this. David writes, "I thank you because I am awesomely made, wonderfully. Your works are wonders, and I know this very well." We all know that we have unique gifts, unique abilities, and we have this mind that's extremely creative, even though different from others. And we want to be valued. We know God values us, and we want others to value us as well. And these interactions that we're going to have, these frequent, positive, and personal interactions, what do those need to look like? I suggest here's some things that need to be part of those interactions: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When the fruit of the Spirit comes out of us, our relationships are going to thrive, and we're going to create belonging around us. In summary, God created us to belong. We're fundamentally and pervasively motivated by a need to belong. We want to be heard, known, and appreciated. When we are, we thrive. We're going to bring our best and we're going to do our best. And it's up to you as a business leader and owner to create belonging around you. Actually, it's up to all of us as humans to create belonging around us. We need to take this back to every relationship, whether at home or at work. This is going to help us. And as you generate and intentionally have these frequent, positive, personal interactions with others, make sure that they feel respected for their uniqueness. In all of this, you're going to nurture belonging. We're going to talk more about how to create belonging in our next session.